We love hip hop.
What's the Dirt video? What's the Dirt just dropped a video? So, Untangling Jay-Z's evil plan to destroy Drake. Whoa. That's a heavy title, brother. Well, let's see what's going on.
Due to repeated copyright claims on my content, I've started a Patreon where you can watch the full uncensored version of videos like this one with all the music, all the visuals, all the details exactly as I intended, exactly as I've always done.
Lucian's on his ass.
Until now. The link will be in the description. Over the last 12 months, something very strange has been happening in the music business. One by one, people connected to the exact same side of a movement suddenly found themselves under attack, and accusations were almost identical every time. It started when Drake, the biggest artist in the world, became the target of multiple lawsuits over his partnership with the gambling platform Stake. Lawsuits claiming the platform was used to manipulate streams with bots and artificially inflate his own success. Now, keep in mind, Drake had just survived what a lot of people in the industry thought would be his downfall. His own lawsuit against his own record label had already accused them of some of the exact same things that he was now being accused of. He referred to himself as a corporate hit survivor on his recent track Dust. The writing had been on the wall for quite some time that Drake had realized his own power and was chasing something bigger with more control and leverage. Once we saw that he was suing his own record label, re-signing with UMG stopped making any real sense. And then on May 15th, he dropped 3 projects in one night. And if industry insiders are correct, that move wasn't really just about music. It made the biggest artist on the planet a free agent, and he now had more power outside the system than anyone in music. Depending on what he does, like if Drake makes a move outside of the 3 majors, it could definitely be a problem. Then came Academics, who is one of Drake's biggest independent media supporters and arguably one of the loudest voices in the entire genre, and he got pulled into the exact same storm. Suddenly, Academics was buried in legal troubles, depositions that stretched on for hours, with questioning that went way outside the scope of the actual case.
Are you blindly loyal to Drake? Did you ever leak exclusive information from someone on Drake's camp?
And just like Drake, it didn't take long before Academics was tied to the lawsuits involving Drake, while blatant AI-generated articles started popping up online attacking his team's credibility. Then in April of 2026, Academics put out a video breaking down Jay-Z's GQ interview, and he was definitely very critical about it. But within days, he said Roc Nation hit him with around 10 copyright strikes across all of his platforms and affiliated channels.
Roc Nation currently are using illegal means, for example, filing DCMA claims. They're abusing it on YouTube, claiming that if you have an opinion about Jay-Z on any content that he's in, instead of acknowledging what it actually is, which is fair use, they're now filing claims if you're not riding his dick.
Because Academics isn't the only creator that this has happened to. Back in December of 2024, YouTuber Trent Out Loud said 2 separate sources told him that Roc Nation and Jay-Z keep an entire team scouring the internet, making sure content creators don't step out of line, and that they'll fire off cease and desist letters the second they do.
2 people told me that Roc Nation and Jay-Z have a whole team scouring the internet and making sure that content creators are not stepping out of line, and they will send cease and desist letters or legal letters with the quickness. So
I'm going to speed this up a little bit.
Multiple users on X have publicly claimed they received copyright takedown notices connected to Roc Nation and their law firm Reed Smith. Another YouTuber by the name of BJ Investigates seemingly had the exact same thing happen.
So I published the video to BJ Investigates, the channel you're watching here, and the video promptly
They're getting at the like outside of hip hop whites. That's crazy.
gets removed from YouTube because somebody, supposedly purportedly purporting to be from the law firm called Reed Smith, issued a copyright takedown request on the video, or a demand. So the video actually got completely removed from YouTube. A copyright strike was on my channel. I had to appeal it. The appeal worked because obviously it was fair use.
But before I can go any further, I need to talk about today's sponsor, ZocDoc. One thing I've realized.
What are you saying? New video, 4 hours with bugs. on King B's production channel, on YouTube channel. I'm gonna check that out right after.
As I've gotten older is it's way too health too. I feel like talent is take over when is a free there's no and book hours, things off comes to things like beer, even stocked out. And for got even stranger, someone close to academics became the subject of a private investigation where information was being collected, photos were being taken, and spread through mainstream media.
Speaking of wire transfers, I hear there's a real investigation going on in Australia into you and your boy George, otherwise known as the Asian Man.
Where you getting this information?
Yo, George, win. How you?
But this is where it gets really interesting because that's when Larry Jackson enters the picture. Larry wasn't just some random executive connected to Drake. He was a longtime partner who helped build some of Drake's biggest moments of his career, and Larry helped shape the entire streaming era. And while Drake was busy fighting for his reputation and his freedom, Larry was building something that threatened to change how the music business works at its core.
6% of new upcoming artists now want to sign to a major label.
Wow. 6%.
And I was like, oh, this is a shift.
Larry's company Gamma was built under one simple idea. Artists should have more ownership, more control, and more power over the system that profits off them. And look, if you've been paying attention to Drake, whether it be through his music or symbolism, visuals, he's been saying a lot of the same things. I won't get too far ahead, but let's just say that there have been a lot of rumors about Drake, Larry Jackson, and Gamma making some big moves behind the scenes. Drake has become one of Gamma's biggest supporters, and on May 15th, he doubled down, putting Gamma-affiliated artists all over his releases. He featured Low Shimmy, and he featured Sexy Red, and they're both Gamma artists. And then when it comes to Molly Santana, she's not over there yet. This is a prediction. I got a feeling she's going to end up over there. But within just 2 days of the streamer Kitschka revealing the release date for Drake's album Iceman, Larry and Gamma got hit too. This time it came through 2 anonymous websites, LarryJacksonExposed.com and GammaExposed.com, accusing Larry of fraud, faking streams, and artificial growth driven by bot networks, the exact same accusations. And pay attention to how they did it, because that seems to be their weapon of choice. These were not articles in an authentic publication. These were anonymous AI-generated hit pieces branding him as Larry Scamson and Gamma Scamma, and they didn't
Gamma Scamma sounds crazy.
spread by accident. Hundreds of fake X accounts, a literal bot network, pushed the links all out at once, and now Larry is suing to find out who did it. So just sit with that for a minute. The same people who are being accused of using bots to fake streams are literally getting attacked by actual bot networks pushing AI-written smears through fake websites and fake accounts. Basically,
spooky shit, bro.
The entire campaign runs on the exact same thing that they're accusing everyone else of doing. Now, before I even go deeper, let me just show you the timeline because it is pretty tight. April 17th, Drake's lawyers filed their final brief in his appeal against UMG, pushing his defamation case forward. 4 days later, April 21st, streamer Kitschka pulls the book out of Drake's ice sculpture and reveals the Iceman release date. When that release date got announced, the internet was Drake. That's just what it was. He was everywhere. Just 2 days later, April 23rd, Larry Jackson and Gamma get hit, accused of fraud, bots, and streaming manipulation. And then 1 day later, April 24th, an announcement drops about a brand new lawsuit against Drake and Stake. But it's not a reporter breaking the story. It is a press release written by the lawyers themselves who paid a wire service called PR Newswire to make sure the whole world saw it. Remember that website because it definitely comes back. For whatever reason, this small boutique law firm out of Virginia wanted this new botting lawsuit against Drake blasted as far as possible right at the peak of his Iceman rollout. I mean, look at how tight that window is. We get a filing, a reveal, an attack, and a lawsuit all stacked back to back, all carrying the same accusations, circling one man and the people connected to him. It's time to start asking some questions. Was this really one big coincidence? Were these really isolated situations? Or was there a bigger force connecting them? And if there was, who's behind it and why?
So, okay, let's stop for a second. Because I see where Matt's going here with the campaigns and the bots and the AI websites and everything like that. Is he insinuating, and I guess he is because the video has Jay-Z in the title and the thumbnail and stuff like that, like that Jay-Z and Rock Nation is the one organizing all of these webs that are being weaved here? Ole.
Ross, DJ Academics, and the people around. Step back and look at the whole board. We've got Drake, Aiden Ross, DJ Academics, and the people around him, Larry Jackson, Gamma. On the surface, these are completely different people, but they're all connected in the sense that they all collaborate and they all represent a similar thing. They're all either outside the system entirely or they're actively fighting against it or a threat to it. And none of them can really be controlled. Drake has never hidden how he feels about the industry, and now it looks like he's a free man. Academics built his own media world where nobody can call him up and threaten his position, and Larry literally built Gamma around handing power back to the artist. Control is shifting from that old system rapidly. It's melting away, and a lot of new artists or upcoming artists are starting to realize it. So you have to ask yourself, who spent decades building power inside that old system? Who's deeply embedded in the music business? Who's got massive interest in the gambling world? Who's been filing lawsuits against creators and leaning on copyright law? And who's been quietly at war with almost everyone we just named?
It was just like, all right, man, we played enough defense. 2026 is all offense.
First and foremost, let me be clear, this is a theory, but it didn't come out of nowhere. Academics recently revealed on a live stream that he had talked directly with Larry Jackson, who's now suing those anonymous AI websites to find out who's behind them. And Larry reached out to Academics for a pretty good reason, I would assume.
But it's really one of the most powerful people in the music business. And this person called me and this person said, I had to reach out to you to tell you you're not crazy. Dude, I'm going through the same thing, but I'm dealing with it legally. He said, I called you just to let you know, if you ever need legal help, if you ever need whatever, I'm here to back you up. But he said, didn't you see some stuff pop up about me? And it looks so beautiful and so good. Where did that come from? When you exposed that they came at you and they're using an AI article, they made a whole AI website about me.
Both men noticed a similar pattern and the same timeline, both getting smeared by anonymous AI sites with similar accusations. And if you follow Academics, you already know where his suspicions point.
So Rock Nation, Jay-Z, their reputation is dirt.
Both men seem to be pointing in a similar direction, Jay-Z and Rock Nation, which raises the real question, why would Jay-Z have any reason to go after Drake, Larry Jackson, or the people around them? And what would he have to gain?
What would he?
Yo, do you guys just see that? Yo, Matt is paranoid, fam. And I'm not saying like, oh, Matt, you too paranoid. Like, look at this. This interview belongs to GQ. There was no audio. He just showed a visual of Jay-Z on the screen in the GQ interview. And he said, you know what? Let me make sure to label this in big with a freaking background box behind it. Just said that it's not mistaken so that YouTube or Rock Nation don't come for me for this. That's insane. This is subtle, but there's a reason he did this. I can literally call Matt and he'll tell me, yo, I did that because I might get a copyright. Just for showing the man on the screen. Yo, I'm holding the man up on the screen too long. This belongs to GQ.
Larry Jackson, or the people around them. And what would he have to gain?
What would he have to gain?
To understand the motive, you have to look at what Jay-Z is trying to build right now, and more importantly, what he's failing to build. We can start with gambling because Jay-Z isn't a bystander in this field. He is an actual owner. In 2021, he and Rock Nation invested in Fanatics, and he took a board seat as a vice chairman of Fanatics Betting and Gaming.
Jay and I started this business together.
And in America, you can't just flip on a switch and open a gambling business. You need a license in every single state separately. That is the slow, painful grind Jay-Z and Fanatics have been going through for 4 years. And today, Fanatics sports betting is legal in 23 states. That is the sports betting side of it, but they ended up going after something else. Fanatics decided to dip their toe into online casinos, which is a completely different game with a completely different problem. Online casinos are only legal in 7 states, and Fanatics is only live in 4 of them, which is not what they want. Like, the real prize is the 46 other states. They want them all. And in September 2025, the biggest version of that prize got yanked off the table. Rock Nation was part of a $5.4 billion bid to build a casino right in Times Square with a Fanatics sportsbook inside Jay-Z's own 40/40 club. A city advisory board killed it. 4 votes to 2 declined.
Bid to create a casino in the middle of Times Square appears to be dead in the water.
They needed 4 of the 6 votes in order to move forward, but they only got 2 of the votes on this board.
Overwhelmingly.
Yo, this casino is a point of contention, eh? It keeps on coming up in everybody's YouTube videos, everybody's Twitter reviews. It's this casino, bro.
we've heard overwhelmingly from residents from Manhattan Plaza to Midtown, even small businesses, who are emailing, calling us, over 1,000 emails and phone calls saying they did not want this to be the economic driver in our district.
Now let's look at the other side, which is Stake, one of the biggest online casinos in the world, and Stake doesn't apply for anything. Stake.com is an offshore crypto casino banned from operating in the United States, so the American side runs through Stake.us on a loophole. You buy gold coins, you get Stake cash, and you redeem Stake cash for real money. They call it a sweepstakes or a promotion, not gambling, and because it's a promotion, they skip state gambling laws entirely.
Wow. You know what? Quick sidetrack. No sidetrack. They're actually doing another giveaway. Where am I? Stakes. They're doing another giveaway. Do they not have a page? Yeah. It is tomorrow. Stake and Drake giving away over $1 million live on Kick, 9 p.m. Yo, also for the kickers, I'm going to be live also at 9 p.m. I'm going to be streaming this stream live on Kick and doing a reaction to the what goes on. So we'll be back tomorrow, 9 o'clock on Kick only, okay? Because I don't know if I could show this on YouTube. YouTube does not fuck with the gambling like that. You know what I'm saying? So I can't show these guys gambling on YouTube. But I definitely will do a stream on Kick exclusively for this right here. But yeah, he's doing a Kick giveaway tomorrow. He's giving away $1 million again. They did that before with the Christmas thing. And that's when they gave my boy, Nima Naz. They gave him $100,000 or something like that.
And Drake is definitely a big part of Stake. He had a deal reported to be worth at least $100 million a year to gamble on stream, bet on sports, and drive players to the platform. And what I'm about to tell you next really matters, and it is not just a theory, it is literal facts. The licensed and regulated gambling industry has been openly trying to kill Stake's entire business model. The American Gaming Association has spent years arguing that sweepstake casinos are illegal, and they're pushing regulators to completely shut them down. They want to kill Stake. They want them gone. And they're not the only organization that feels that way. Fanatics Sports Betting, Jay-Z's company, is part of an organization called the Sports Betting Alliance, and the whole entire point of this organization is to, 1, legalize regulated online casinos in all 50 states, and 2, destroy unregulated sweepstake companies like Stake. In fact, it's literally written directly on their website. Unregulated iGaming platforms like Stake evade U.S. gaming laws and safeguards that prevent minors from gaining access. It's literally in black and white, like Jay-Z's company, Fanatics Betting, is part of an organization, and that organization wants to destroy companies like Stake. I mean, the alliance that Fanatics is a part of even put out a full-on commercial called The Dangers of Unregulated Betting, and they literally feature Drake in the commercial.
These unauthorized betting sites aren't bound to any of the normal marketing rules that prevent gaming advertising to minors.
And what's interesting is how and when Drake ends up in the middle of it. Stake was getting sued all through 2025 by multiple states through multiple lawsuits, and Drake's name never came up once. And then something changed, and just watch the timeline. On October 9th, 2025, Drake's lawsuit against UMG got thrown out. 18 days later, he's suddenly named in a Stake lawsuit in Missouri. 2 days after that, New Mexico. A few weeks later, Virginia, then New Jersey. It was like a whole year of Stake lawsuits with not a single mention of Drake, but then all of a sudden, something happens where he ends up in lawsuit after lawsuit. However, the most important cases to focus on are the Virginia and New Jersey cases, and they were both filed by the exact same law firm. These two cases go beyond gambling entirely. They claim Drake used a hidden tipping feature on Stake to secretly send crypto to pay for bot farms, fake accounts, or machines used to stream his music and fake his popularity. Now just stop and think about that. These are gambling lawsuits. Someone is trying to get their gambling money back. Proving Drake's Spotify numbers are fake does nothing for that. It doesn't put a single dollar back in anyone's pocket. It has nothing to do with gambling. So why is it in there? Botting allegations or fake streams do not matter to a gambler, but they do matter to the music industry. Here's the question that actually matters. Forget who's behind these lawsuits for a second. Just ask yourself, how does a lawsuit like this even come to be? Well, a gambling lawsuit would start with someone who lost money. And in Virginia, that's 2 women, allegedly stake users, who found a lawyer. They go in, they say, I lost money on an illegal platform and I want my money back. It's a very simple case. Like, I lost money, that casino is illegal, I want it back. That's it. So how do 2 random women who lost money on a casino app walk into a law office with detailed theories about Drake's crypto tipping with streaming farms and bot vendors, and then there's this guy named George moving money in the background? How did those women even get that information? How did they get that? Like, it just doesn't add up. And where it gets stranger is that these lawsuits also accuse Drake, Academics, and George of using stake to go after music competitors and executives. Yeah.
I remember that shit. That was crazy. And they're saying that they were using the money that they were getting from these streams or from the betting to put back into streams and shit. I don't know. That sounded far-fetched at the time. But y'all let me know what y'all think of right now so far. Is Jay-Z responsible for the smear campaigns that have been going on towards Drake for the last, let's say, 2 years? And, you know, Matt's explaining here his theory that it's because he got kiboshed when it came to the casinos, different things like that. Drake's losses is going to be Jay-Z's wins as far as the bigger picture that they're fighting for.
You heard it right. It is a gambling lawsuit that is worried about music executives and music competitors getting their feelings hurt, being talked about negatively. That's what you have here. So just think about it. Who in the music industry could this possibly be about? Well, the lawsuit doesn't name any executives, so just fill in the blanks. Who have Academics and his team actually been critical of over the last couple years? Only 2 camps come up. TDE, the Kendrick side, Punch, Dave Free, Doechii, and Roc Nation, Jay-Z, and Desiree Perez. Those are the only 2. The only 2. Now, I want to be careful here, so let me tell you what I can prove and what I can't, because I can't tell you who filed these lawsuits, but what I can tell you is the names that keep coming up over and over again over the last 2 years. And it starts with Academics. It goes back to the Tory Lanez and Megan Thee Stallion trial. Academics was firm that he didn't believe Megan, he thought she was lying, and he sided with Tory from day one. A smaller blogger named Milagro Grams took a similar stance and got herself sued by Meg for it. Now, Academics ended up subpoenaed as a witness in the Milagro case. He sat down with Megan's lawyers and he recorded it. But there was something very, very strange about this deposition. Ac was there as a witness about Megan, Milagro, and Tory, but for some reason, Drake, who has nothing to do with that case, kept coming up.
And you said that you weren't so happy about not being paid to promote Drake, and you said it was probably due to your blind loyalty. Are you blindly loyal to Drake? Did you ever leak exclusive information from someone on Drake's camp? What type of information have you leaked that you received from Drake's camp?
They asked about Drake repeatedly, but guess what else they asked about?
What is stake? Do you have any joint accounts with anybody through which you receive any kind of compensation for your work? How did you get connected with the individuals at stake to be in a sponsor relationship? Conversations with Drake about, has he ever sent you any sort of cryptocurrency or digital assets for any reason?
And they also asked about George, aka Grand Wizard.
Of the individual who runs the Grand Wizard chat account?
Now, you could probably argue that this is just Megan's legal team and it has nothing to do with Roc Nation, and on paper, maybe. But the problem is the legal team accidentally shared their own screen and their own internal chat, and sitting right there for everyone to see was one name, Desiree.
And, you know, Academics wasn't supposed to do this, but it was the smartest thing that the smartest but dumb thing that he ever did. Okay, because you're not supposed to show a court hearing on your stream. You know what I'm saying? And I remember this in real time when he was showing the court hearing on his stream. Technically, that's not allowed, right? But it was the most revealing thing, or one of the most revealing things that we have in this whole tangled web that has been weaved.
Perez is the CEO of Roc Nation.
And this is where I realized.
Hold on, what are you saying over here? Down to earth, it says Jay-Z is a crybaby like his music, but lost some respect for Jay-Z. Can't take to see someone else with success like Drake. It wasn't always even just a Drake thing, because you can hear from, I guess, like Dame Dash and different people who are his detractors, that Jay-Z is like always been on some, oh, that's your girl, okay, I want her. He's always been trying to one up people. You know what I'm saying? He kind of did it with Cap. We passed that. We passed kneeling. All right? Oh, Cap, you got the NFL in a chokehold right now? Oh, well, hold my beer. They're getting into business they don't belong in. Why the fuck should we care about Desiree? She ain't on no hip hop album. Well, now she is when niggas is dissing her, but they don't even mention her name. You know what I'm saying? Good evening, Tasha Latina. We've been here from like 3 o'clock. You know what I'm saying? Marathon live right now.
We got you. Y'all are liars. Tell Des.
So just think about it. Rock Nation's legal team deposed academics for a defamation case about a blogger and spent hours asking them about Steak, Drake, and George, the exact 3 names that would soon sit at the dead center of 2 gambling lawsuits that hadn't even been filed yet. They were even trying to link Drake to George in this deposition and asking questions about it.
The person who runs the Grand Wizard account has ever been associated with an account called OVO Grand $? Because OVO is Drake's record label, right? Did he give you any indication whether or not there was truth to him communicating with the individual who runs the Grand Wizard chat account?
This deposition happened in August of 2025. The first lawsuit accusing Drake of sending crypto through Stake to George for bot payments wasn't filed until December. So
hold on, I don't mean to keep stopping the video. I'm gonna let it run after this. Why does Matt keep on just calling him George? Is that we're just calling him by first name basis now? It's just George. It's not no more Grand Wizard, chat nigga. Well, you can't say nigga, but like, you know what I'm saying? It's just George. We're just calling him George now because Charlamagne and them revealed the man's name. Holy.
Months before anyone filed a lawsuit about this, Rock Nation lawyers were already in a room under oath, grilling or more or less investigating academics about Drake, crypto, Stake, and George. I mean, like, read between the lines, use your own discretion, but whatever you got to do. Actually, you know what? Like, I'm doing the edit right now. I'm putting this thing together, and like, I got to say, like, this whole thing makes me fucking sick. This is making me sick.
Did Drake ever tell you one way or another if he paid to help secure Grand Wizard's account?
And the Virginia lawsuit gets even stranger when you look at who's actually suing. At first, it was just 2 women, Tiffany Hines and Lashana Ridley, and because their names are now public in a very public case against a very public figure, I pulled their backgrounds. This is not their first time inside a courtroom. Lashana Ridley was convicted in 2015 on a cocaine felony, and like a lot of people who get caught in the system, it didn't end there. It turned into years stuck in the probation trap. Violation after violation, always at the mercy of the court. That cycle finally ended for her in 2021 when she got an early release. And you will see in a minute why all this matters. The other plaintiff, Tiffany Hines, had the exact same charge, a 2018 cocaine felony that sent her down the same probation rabbit hole, multiple violations, constantly back and forth with a judge. For this one, I couldn't confirm whether her probation had ever been fully lifted. But now it gets really interesting because eventually 6 more people were added to this lawsuit, and most of them are directly connected to those first 2 women. First up, we have 63-year-old Regina Ridley. This is Lashana Ridley's blood relative. They shared the same address for years. This I've confirmed. But that's not even all, because another person directly tied to Lashana got added. A man named Freddie Ray with multiple felonies between 2007 and 2016, and records showed he lived at the exact same address as Lashana, and as of 2026, it looks like they still live together. I believe this is her partner, and now he's also added to the lawsuit. And Freddie got an early release from probation back in 2021 too, within 2 days of Lashana. But
I'm sorry, Freddie is a crazy name.
Let's keep going through the other plaintiffs. Tiffany Hines, not to be outdone, brought in a blood relative of her own, 55-year-old Stephanie Hines, and as you can see, these 2 are clearly related. Then they added Takia Adams, same pattern of run-ins with the law, with a more recent identity theft conviction in 2024. As far as I could tell, she's still on probation. Then there was Ricola Lachey, again through the court system multiple times, 2 drug felony convictions, a probation history just like the others, with a violation in 2024. Keep in mind, these people are like extremely concerned over Drake's streaming numbers, right? It's imperative that they get to the bottom of this. They're losing sleep over it.
Wow.
And they don't want the executives being talked about negatively. So let's look at this for what it is. We've got 2 plaintiffs that share the last name Ridley. 2 more share the last name Hines. In an 8-person class, half the names are pairing off. 2 of them, Lashana Ridley and Freddie Ray, have shared the same Norfolk address for years. Not the same city, they live in the same house, and all 8 come out of the same metro area, running through the same criminal courts. It looks completely
These are the people that are filing the class action lawsuit against Drake and Stake and Aiden Ross and all that. That is nasty work.
ridiculous. A class action lawsuit is supposed to be open to anyone who was hurt by the thing you're suing over. And the whole point of a platform like Stake is that anybody, anywhere with a phone can lose money on it. A real clash should have scattered total strangers, but instead you've got shared last names with blood relatives, shared households, all packed into this one tiny corner of one state. In my opinion, this is not a class of strangers who all stumbled upon the Stake app. These are people that know each other, that filed together. Which raises the obvious question, if these people were connected before the lawsuit, whether it was from the same families or being from the same neighborhoods or in the same court, then who brought them together? And who decided this was the group that should sue Drake with an elaborate theory about botted streams and crypto tipping through Stake? This is where we look into the firm that filed the lawsuit. The firm handling the...
Oh my God. How much you want to bet that this firm and Matt, what's the dirt research specialist, is going to find a connection between this law firm and Rock Nation?
Virginia case is Impressa Legal Group, the same firm that filed the New Jersey lawsuit, which is basically a carbon copy. It has the same theory from the same firm. And when you look at the lawyers whose names are actually on the filing, it gets interesting fast. George Costell and Richard Kelsey of Impressa Legal Group. George Costell owns the firm, but the interesting part is his history. He's a former commercial litigation partner at a firm called Reed Smith, and I'll explain why this matters in a second. The other owner of the firm, Jason Matchek, was also a partner at Reed Smith, and Richard Kelsey, the other attorney on the case, worked at Reed Smith too. In fact, it's right here on his own Facebook. It's even on Impressa's own website under the About Us page. It proudly lists Reed Smith as one of the firms that their attorneys come from. And I know what you're thinking, right? Like, lawyers change firms all the time. Like, what's the big deal? And you would be right if Reed Smith were just any firm, but Reed Smith isn't just any firm. It has a very specific, very documented relationship with Rock Nation and the woman who runs it. Her name is Desiree Perez. She is the CEO of...
Oh my God. Got him. Yo. Bro, did you guys not realize like that YouTubers and like the Twitter detectives and Reddit detectives that are out there, did they never think that anybody was going to make this connection? Because this connection is very, very crucial. Like, salute to Matt from What's the Dirt, because I don't even think anybody did the heavy lifting to find out this connection right here. But I'm kind of baffled. That don't look good at all, fam.
Rock Nation, one of the most powerful people in the entire music industry, and Reed Smith is her personal law firm.
Oh
right now, in 2026, Reed Smith lawyers are representing her personally in an active lawsuit. This is all confirmed in court records. But to understand why Desiree matters here, you need to look at who she actually is, because Desiree Perez has a documented history as Jay-Z's fixer, or the person who handles the problems.
The fixer.
Back in 1994, she was arrested in a major federal drug case and charged in a conspiracy to distribute narcotics. She became a government informant, took a probation deal, and later served 9 months in prison in 1999 for violating it. Desiree Perez is not new to the system. She's basically navigated it her whole career. Then, decades later, in the final hours of his presidency, Donald Trump gave her a full pardon. And here's the part that's even more compelling, because in 2023, ESPN conducted an investigation into how NFL coach John Gurdon's private emails got leaked, which was a leak that ended his career and helped bring down an NFL owner. According to that reporting, the operation was run through Reed Smith with the help from Desiree Perez, using leaked private communications to take down a target. Basically, in a nutshell, this wasn't just an attorney dealing with her client. It sounds like Desiree Perez and Reed Smith were working together as conspirators to destroy someone's reputation. This is not a rumor. This was documented by ESPN. So just think about the playbook. Perez and Reed Smith have already been described in national reporting as a unit that used leaked private messages to destroy someone. And the same firm that is filing this lawsuit against Drake and Stake is in the bloodline of Reed Smith. Now look back at these lawsuits against Drake, because they say the exact same thing. It's about leaked DMs, leaked chat logs.
Do you know that his DMs were leaked? That what was leaked appeared to be DMs between the person who runs that account and Drake?
And it even goes deeper. Reed Smith doesn't just represent Desiree.
These guys are running the same play. They're just, yo, let's run that same play again. Just run it again, bro. That shit worked last time. Run it again.
Personally, it represents Rock Nation, the company. Remember in 2024 when Megan Thee Stallion was sued by a former cameraman named Emilio Garcia? In that case, Rock Nation's lawyers were Reed Smith and Megan's lawyers were Quinn Emanuel. the same Quinn Emanuel you saw in the academics deposition. Basically, the lawyers who were questioning academics worked with Reed Smith in the past, which is Desiree's firm. So let's just line up what we have. The two lawyers who filed the Drake lawsuit came out of Reed Smith. Reed Smith is tied to Desiree Perez and Roc Nation. Reed Smith works alongside the same firm that deposed academics. We even mentioned earlier in this video that Reed Smith was the firm who was filing these false copyright claims on behalf of Roc Nation.
To be from the law firm called Reed Smith issued a copyright takedown request on the video.
But what does that have to do with this Virginia lawsuit? Well, remember, almost everyone in this case has a criminal record and a history of probation problems, which brings us to Roc Nation's nonprofit, Reform Alliance. Reform Alliance is a criminal justice organization co-founded by Jay-Z, Fanatic CEO Michael Rubin. Remember, he's in the gambling business too. And then Desiree Perez is on its board. The company's entire mission is fighting the probation trap, which is the exact system that kept a lot of our plaintiffs stuck in a cycle of violations for years. Then there's the fact that some of the plaintiffs in this case seem to still be on probation. One of the first states that they went into was Virginia. In 2021, Reform Alliance pushed to change Virginia's probation laws, and they won. They got a law passed that allowed early release for people stuck on probation.
You know who else is from Virginia? I'm from Virginia. We're all y'all. Oh, what is that? What did he say? Well, all we learned to do was cook. Ugh.
And it took effect July 1st, 2021. Now remember Lashana Ridley and Freddie Ray, two of the plaintiffs suing Drake. In December 2021, 5 months after that new law kicked in, Lashana Ridley was released from probation early, and exactly 2 days later, so was Freddie Ray. So basically, the people suing Drake were freed from Virginia's probation system in the exact same year that Jay-Z and Desiree Perez's organization rewrote Virginia's probation laws. But this only gets tighter. On October 18, 2024, Reform Alliance and Roc Nation held a massive public job fair in Virginia. The job fair was built to help formerly incarcerated people find work and get help cleaning up their criminal records. And guess who Roc Nation brought in to handle the legal services at the event? Reed Smith, the exact same firm that represents Desiree.
And how much you want to bet Freddie Ray, fucking weird ass name, Freddie Ray, and Lashana and all them are over there at the job fair?
Ray Perez, the exact same firm that represents Roc Nation, the exact same firm Impressa's owners came from. They were physically in the room at Roc Nation's event in Virginia, sitting across from formerly incarcerated people who were on probation. And we know Reed Smith was there because Reform Alliance said it themselves. Their own website said Reed Smith will be on hand to help with expungement. Expungement is when they erase the records from your criminal history, wipe them entirely. And do you guys remember PR Newswire, the paid wire service website that Impressa used to blast out the Drake lawsuit right in the middle of his rollout? I looked into their full history on it. Out of every case Impressa Legal Group has ever handled, do you know how many times they've used that website for a press release? Twice. Only twice, and both times it was to announce a lawsuit against Drake. One for Virginia, one for New Jersey. Now, guess who uses PR Newswire all the time? Guess who has a whole account for announcing their biggest initiatives? Roc Nation and Reform Alliance. Roc Nation pays PR Newswire constantly. Pretty much everything Jay-Z does gets pushed through it, including that exact Virginia job fair in October 2024. So basically, a tiny firm that had never touched PR Newswire suddenly used the exact same paid platform Roc Nation lives on to run a national smear on Drake, using lawyers who came out of the exact same law firm that Roc Nation uses, representing plaintiffs who benefited from Roc Nation's probation laws, many of them blood relatives, in a gambling lawsuit that's somehow really about the authenticity of Drake's streams and music.
Tory's dad don't sound so fucking crazy now, right? Huh? Does Tory's dad sound so crazy now? When he was outside the courtroom, this is all put together by Roc Nation. Yo, salute to my Bajans. Yo, salute to Sunstar. He said, it's all Roc Nation.
Music executives getting talked about. Again, I'll leave this information with you. So let's just lay out all the connections we've actually established. And just remember, I can't tell you how all this came together, but I can show you that every single piece you need to build this lawsuit was already sitting there, publicly connected, already operating in Virginia. Reform Alliance has a database. They know exactly who they helped get off probation in Virginia and who's still trying to. Through their job fairs and their clinics, they know a lot about those people's lives. Reed Smith was at Roc Nation's Virginia event sitting across from those exact people. Reed Smith's former partners built Impressa Legal Group, the firm that filed the lawsuit. Reed Smith represents Desiree Perez personally and Rock Nation as a company. The Quinn Emanuel law firm has worked right alongside Reed Smith and was asking academics about Drake, Stake, George, and crypto months before any lawsuit even existed. Some of the plaintiffs got off probation in 2021, right after Reform Alliance changed Virginia's probation laws. Then we have some plaintiffs who seem to still be on probation, likely hoping it could end. Both Drake lawsuits were announced on PR Newswire, the only 2 times that firm has ever used it. Rock Nation uses it constantly. Then we have the fact that the lawsuits themselves are written to benefit the regulated gambling business and the music business. The people who win most if Drake and Stake go down are in gambling and in music. Jay-Z is in both, heavily.
There's no crimes. This is the beauty of this, Day. There's no crimes being committed here. It's just smear campaigns, right? If they want to call up any crime, it might be like defamation, as far as like lawsuits and stuff like that. But as far as criminal activity, it's just a bunch of smut throwing that's been happening. Oh, you're trying to get in business over here? Well, let's throw some smut on that to make sure that you guys don't get in business because we have an invested interest in this business over here. It's the same thing with politics. As soon as somebody decides, okay, I'm going to run to become a mayor, let's say, that's when all of the dirt, like if you threw some sand in a little girl's face in the sandbox when you were like 5, that's coming up in some kind of commercial or some shit, bro. They're gonna find all the dirt and then start throwing at you. And then on your side of things, you got to make sure to get all of the right commercials and right social media ads and clippers and stuff like that to be like, nah, they the bad guys over there. Look at what they did. Oh, do you remember this? Do you remember that? Like, for example, they might think on the quote-unquote other side, like on the Rock Nation, on their side over there, that What's the Dirt and Grand Wizard Chat Nigga and Seashells and who else could I name? Poetic Flacco. All these different people are in academics, obviously, are in a conspiracy to try to defame Rock Nation because Drake has his own invested interest. This is what they're feeling like on the other side of things. They're like, nah, bro, it's you niggas who are leading a smear campaign. All right? But who knows? Who knows who's doing what? Who's doing it first? Right? It's just a lot of smoke and mirrors. Even down to Twitter, fam. I've been realizing and I've been hearing more and more about Twitter and about the bot use on Twitter. Yes, the pot calling the kettle black, fam. Right? But even the bots on Twitter are helping to push these narratives. Because, yes, I'm on Twitter. A lot of people are on Twitter. And we post, we make comments and stuff like that. And then people get into the comments of said post. But now you got to really take a look of where these comments are coming from. Are they comments from somebody who has an invested interest in the other side rather than, oh, I just didn't like that take that you had, right? They have to make sure that they comment on this to push a narrative, right? We found out that there was Kendrick fans that had locations in India and all types of shit like that. So are they really Kendrick fans or somebody who has been given orders to always push pro-Kendrick narratives on their social media pages? I think it's the latter. Okay, not to say that people in India ain't jamming to Not Like Us or, I don't know, Damn or whatever albums and shit. Like, I'm not saying that's not happening. But the chances are that you have a multitude of people that are just quote-unquote Kendrick fans out of India. Yeah, you guys gave them orders. Let's not play fucking games. They're not just chance fans that come from India, right? They were saying nigga in their comments and all types of shit. Mind you, they could say the same thing about Grand Wizard, right? He has nigga in his name. You know what I'm saying? But he's a Asian man out of Australia. So infractions are happening on both sides as far as that. But at least we know with Grand Wizard is that he's a real dude who's into like hip hop. Like even when they're showing the pictures of him, like he just looks like an Asian hip hop head who lives in Australia. So at least it's not like a fake bot account or an account that was sent by somebody. People feel that he's, in cahoots with Drake because they leaked all of his text messages with Drake. But there was never, or DMs, I mean, but there was never one DM saying, yo, make sure that when you post this, caption it this so we can get at these niggas. Not one of those was in any of those leaked DMs. And I'm not playing defense like they have nothing going on the Drake side as far as smear campaigns. But I feel like it's just something that is part of the game now. You know what I'm saying? It's not even like nefarious anymore. It's just, this is what you need to do if you want to be a powerful entity in the media / hip hop game, in the entertainment game. Like, we've seen it happening with Blake Lively and Justin Baldoni. I might be saying names that you guys might not be knowing, but I think y'all know. I think you guys are tapped into enough mainstream or media, period. There was accusations of that same shit with the Blake Lively and Justin Baldoni guy, saying that there was people from Justin's side sending smear campaign, hate campaigns towards Blake Lively and vice versa. And they were saying that they were using the same people that was used by the tick, what's her name? The tick UK chick, the English chick, that she was in, what's that fucking movie? Not Wedding Crashers. It was like the women version of Hangover. But they were saying that the companies, the publishing or the publicity companies were from the same people, and she was having a smear campaign against her. So, oh, she's from Australia. Yeah. I forget her name, though, the blonde chick, blonde chubby chick. But they were saying that they were using the same PR teams to start these smear campaigns. And then their shit was, information was leaked about this. So when you see it happening in hip-hop, I say all that to say, you see it happening in hip-hop, you can't be surprised. It's just part of getting to the upper echelon of any industry that you're in. You know what I'm saying? I feel like it probably happens in podcasts. Rebel Wilson, thank you. So to my kickers, man. Kickers. Look, if I just put in Rebel Wilson smear. Look, Rebel Wilson PR team seemingly plotted to smear movie producers as sex traffickers. Rebel Wilson denies she orchestrated smear campaign.
Right. It's very rare for a case like this to get to court and for both sides to kind of air out their dirty laundry in front of everyone.
One of the dirtiest bits was a smear campaign which Rebel is accused of orchestrating. A series of websites where Amanda Ghost is painted as a sex trafficker and described as the Indian Ghislaine Maxwell.
Wow.
Obviously, I had zero to do with the websites. I don't even know how to create a website. I had nothing to do with what was on it. I read it like a lot of people in the business did. But yeah, obviously it's categorically false to say that I had anything to do with it.
Well, it's not saying that you made the websites, but the allegation is that on the 6th of August, you requested your publicist to register and publish a series of malicious websites about Ghost.
Yeah, that is absolutely untrue.
So the publicist in email to a co-worker said, so basically Rebel wants one of those sites, goes on to say it can be really, really harsh. Russian oligarchs and making her a madam, basically, laugh out loud or lol. So that's the allegation, that you asked your publicist to set up one of these.
Wasn't my
websites.
publicist, was a woman who worked for my lawyer at the time.
Right.
Yeah.
So did you or your lawyer do this?
No, definitely not.
So why is your name linked to it? Why does she say Rebel?
I have no idea. I don't know whether those texts are real. I don't know where they came from. I read the websites. I think it was very interesting what was on there. and I might have gossiped about it to a couple friends. But
Well, the allegation is that you did more than that you actually pointed your followers on Instagram to those websites, that you ensured that associates of Amanda Ghost were made aware of the website.
Let's go 60 minutes. That's some good journalism right there. Press that bitch.
That you posted on the Deb Instagram.
I don't have any memory of doing that. No.
No.
Is it you don't remember it, but is it possible that you did that?
I don't believe so. No.
No, I don't believe so. I don't believe so. Hold on, let me do this. Tory Lane, Rock Nation. Free Tory for real.
In the LAPD's office, tell me how there's no fingerprints. My God Almighty, I call heaven and earth to be a record today. That Rock Nation, you will crumble. I am an apostle of God, and you will know who I am.
That's right. Say that, man. Come on, man.
Talk.
I just stood here in this Los Angeles County and witnessed the worst miscarriage of justice that this world has ever seen. You want to know how I feel? I'll tell you exactly how I feel. I got some names that I want to call.
Talk about it.
Spiro, Desiree Perez, and the whole wicked system of Rock Nation, including you, Jay-Z.
Yes.
You who say you rose from the gutter, but you have traded and bartered the souls of young men, and you're still doing it. The only independent witness in this courtroom is a man whose name is Sean Kelly. He came to court, and our attorneys, he would not even shake their hand after he went upstairs with Kathy Ta and Alex Butt.
They met on Saturday before. They
met with our witness, and then the man came back. I just stood here.
Free Tory, man. I don't care how y'all say, oh, he's Bruce, free Tory, that's problematic. Fuck off. Free Tory, bro. They railroaded that nigga, bro. Jesus Christ. So, let me see what y'all think. What's the tally over here? Let me see. Is Jay-Z trying to destroy Drake? Wow. 79% of you guys said yes. Holy, y'all got no faith in the Jigga Man no more, eh? Y'all think Jigga Man is just behind the scenes just trying to just destroy lives. Listen, I fuck with y'all. I ain't even going to sit here and disagree with y'all. Jigga Man's moving dirty. So, salute to What's the Dirt. Great video. I think he broke down everything that listen, it sounds like a theory. Yes, it's a theory, but I believe your theory, bro. I believe your theory. So salute to What's the Dirt.
Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this video, please make sure to check out these other videos on the screen and make sure to like and subscribe. We love hip hop.